Today I'm here with another chapter from your book Moments, and today we will do the chapter The Beggar. The Beggar, right? By Anton Chekhov. Right? Just I'll check if the spelling is correct or not. Yes, perfect. Alright, so this is a story where we see transformation of a man. Transformation of a beggar into a notary officer. And yes, this transformation cannot take place without the help of people or a particular person. You force someone to change, change will not take place. It is a way, particular way a person can change another person, and that is through love, compassion, kindness, care. And let us see who did this in the life of our protagonist, the beggar. We'll go quick with the chapter. Kind sir, have pity, turn your attention to a poor hungry man. For 3 days I have had nothing to eat. I haven't 5 kopecks for a lodging. I swear it before God. For 8 years I was village school teacher, and then I lost my place through intrigues. I fell a victim to calumny. It is a year now since I have had anything to do. Now this is the starting of the chapter where the beggar is begging by giving reasons why he was begging. He wanted to create an aura of sympathy and pity so that people feel pity or sympathetic towards that person, and they give him whatever they feel like, right? And so he is seen here begging, and he says that he has had nothing to eat for last 3 days, and he did not have even 5 kopecks. What is 5 kopecks? Kopecks are copper coins, right? Copper coins. So he says, I don't have 5 copper coins also for lodging, that is for staying somewhere. That means he has no house, and he swears it before God. Alright, and then he says that for 8 years he had worked as a village schoolmaster, but some people had plotted against him. What is introduce? Introduce is when you defame a person. That is by plotting against a person. So someone must have, laid before him some conspiracy, and through conspiracy he was removed. He says so, and then he says, I fell a victim to calumny. Calumny means, someone must have plotted and planned against him and told false statements about him. Calumny are false statements to defame someone. So that is what happened, and he lost his job, and now he has nothing to do. Now he was begging, and this he was saying to an advocate who was over there. Let us see who this advocate is. The advocate, Cbse, looked at the ragged, fawn-colored overcoat of the suppliant beggar, at his dull, drunken eyes, at the red spot on either cheek, and it seemed to him as if he had seen this man somewhere before. So the appearance, he's an advocate. Advocates observe things very, very clearly, and they have this, it's there in the blood. They are used to observing people. So what does he observe? He observes his dull, drunken eyes. All right, red spot on either cheek. He sees his ragged, the clothes are in rags, and fawn-colored coat he was wearing. And he felt, he had seen this man somewhere before, and he was not able to remember. He was trying to, gauge through, run through the memory line of your brain, and was trying to remember. I have now had, the beggar continues to say, I have now had an offer of a position in province of Kaluga. The mendicant went on. Mendicant is another word for beggar. Suppliant, beggar. Beggar is beggar. Then here mendicant is beggar. But I haven't the money to get there. Help me kindly. I'm ashamed to ask, but I'm obliged to by circumstances. So he goes on to say, and he says that now he has found a job somewhere in the province of Kaluga. Kaluga is a place in Russia, but he did not have money to go there, and so he was begging. Sergey's eye, Sergey, our advocate, observant eyes. So his eyes fell on the man's overshoes. Now this beggar was wearing overshoes, one of which was high and the other was low. Overshoes are just like boots. So there are boots, which go till the knees, alright? And there are others which stay ankle length. So, both, one is high and one is low. And he suddenly remembered something. Look here, it seems to me I met you the day before yesterday in Sadovia Street. So the advocate remembers, he's able to recall, and he says that he had met this man. These overshoes reminded him that he had met this man in Sadovia Street. So we need to learn the street's name. But you told me then that you were a student who had been expelled and not a village school teacher. Do you remember? Now this advocate had a good memory and he was able to recall, and he says, that day you had told you were a student who had been expelled and you were not a school teacher. Today you are saying you are a village school teacher. So he caught the lies. No, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar. Taken aback, the beggar was shocked. He did not know that he had begged before also. He had begged in front of this man before. I am a village school teacher, and if you like, I can show you my papers. And he says, I'll show you the paper. He wants to take out the paper, although there are no papers. It's just his pretense. Have done with lying. Now Sergey was an advocate, and he had caught this man's lies, and he didn't want to hear anymore. So he gets angry and he says, have done with lying. You called yourself a student and even told me that you had been expelled. Do you remember? Sergey flushed, he was embarrassed, flushed and turned from the ragged creature with an expression of disgust. Now this time he was totally disgusted. He was full of hatred. Sergey got very, very angry, and then he says, this is dishonesty, my dear sir. He cried angrily. This is swindling. What is swindling? This is cheating, befooling someone. I shall send the police for you, damn you. So he gets very angry and he says, I'll call the police for you. You are a dishonest person and you are telling a lie and begging. Sir, he said, laying his hand on the heart, the fact is, I am lying. Now this time he was caught. So he had to tell the truth. So he says, I am lying. I am neither a student nor a school teacher. All that was fiction. Fiction, made up story. Formally. So now he tells the truth, which we feel it's the truth. Truth we do not know. Formerly, I sang in a Russian choir and was sent away for drunkenness. Now because he was calling the policeman, he was calling the cops, probably this was the correct thing, alright? The right story of his. He says, I was, one of the members of the Russian choir and was sent away because of drunkenness, because he used to drink so much. But what else can I do? I can't get along without lying. No one will give me anything. When I tell the truth, what can I do? So he says, what can I do now? I have to lie, and then only people will feel pity for me and they will give me something. So that is why I lie. What can you do? You ask, what can you do? Cried Sergey, coming close to him. Sergey got very angry and he says, work. That's what you can do. You must work. Work? Yes. I know that myself, but where can I find work? And yes, you also tell me, if you have to find a person to work in your house or to work in your office, will you keep a drunkard? No. So that is why he was not able to get work. Moreover, he was so in habit of begging, he had never worked hard. How would you like to chop wood for me? Now Sergey was a very nice man. He offered him. This person had told a lie to him, but still he offered work. And he said, would you like to chop wood for me? I wouldn't refuse to do that, but in these days, even skilled woodcutters find themselves sitting without bread. He said, yes, I can cut wood. Now this time he could not refuse because he was caught with his lies. He was caught red-handed speaking a lie. Alright, so he says, yes, but these days even the woodcutters are not getting work. There is no work for earning money. Sergi repeats, will you come and chop wood for me? Yes, sir, I will. Very well, we'll soon find out. Sergi hastened along, rubbing his hands. He called his cook out of the kitchen. He went inside his house. He called his cook. Here, Olga, he said, take this gentleman into the woodshed and let him chop wood. So now he told his cook to take this drunkard man to chop wood for him. So now Olga was told to take him into the woodshed and to get wood chopped. Alright, so this was a Sergi's trial for improving the condition of this drunkard beggar. Alright, so now let us see what happens. So he says here to take him. Now what he sees, the scarecrow of a beggar shrugged his shoulders, shrugged his, this way. This is shrugging. Shrugged his shoulders as if in perplexity. Perplexity, confusion. He was puzzled. He was bewildered. Chopping wood was not his job. It was not his cup of tea. He could not. He didn't know how to do it. He had never done it in his whole life. And went irresolutely after the cook. So very hesitatingly, he did not want to go, but he couldn't do anything. So he followed the cook. It was obvious from his gait. What is G-A-I-T? The way he was walking. Gait. Okay. Way of walking. This is gait. Alright. So the way he was walking, that he had not consented to go and chop wood because he was hungry and wanted work, but simply from pride and shame, and because he had been trapped by his own words. So it was quite evident that he did not want to earn money by chopping wood. It was not because of hunger, it was because of embarrassment. He had felt shamed because he did not want to chop wood to earn money. Begging was easier. And moreover, he did not have that energy. He was so weak. He was scarecrow types. So, but because he was trapped by his own words, he had been caught telling a lie. So now he had to go. It was obvious too that his strength had been undermined by vodka. What is vodka? Vodka is a kind of alcohol. He must have drunk so much all his time, all his life. Don't know since when he was drinking. Maybe when he was, chucked out of the Russian choir. So it was maybe because after that he was totally, drinking vodka. In fact, he was chucked off because of drunkenness only. So because of this drink, his strength had got minimized. He did not have the strength to cut wood, and cutting wood is actual physical labor. It is not with a single jab you can cut wood, right? So, and he was very unhealthy and did not feel the slightest inclination for toil. Toil is hard work. He did not have a bent of mind. He just did not want to do any type of hard physical labor. Sergi hurried into the dining room. From his window, one could see the wood shed and everything that went on in the yard. Standing at the window, Sergi saw the cook and the beggar come into the yard, by the back door, and make their way across the dirty snow to the shed. Olga glared wrathfully at her companion, shoved him with her elbow, unlocked the shed and angrily banged the door. Now, you know what Sergi did? He commanded Olga to take him to the woodshed and get wood cut. He himself came, inside, and from the dining room window, he could see the woodshed, he could see the yard which would lead to the woodshed, and he came inside and started observing how and what the reaction of this drunkard beggar would be. He saw both of them go. Olga was very angry that she was given this job. She was very angry, probably because he was drunk. So she, shoved him with his elbow and then unlocked the shed, and very angrily she banged the door. And let's see what happens next. Next, he saw the C2 teacher seat himself on the log and become lost in thought with his red cheeks resting on his fists. So now what he saw next was that a fake man, a fake student, C2 teacher, fake student. He didn't want to learn. It was all fake. He had just had to do it. He couldn't, do anything because he was embarrassed. He was caught telling a lie. He was afraid that the cops would be called. So he had to do all this. And he sat there. He went into the log. He went inside the woodshed. He sat on the log with his red cheeks on his fist, and he didn't know what to do. He was in thoughts, perplexed. He had never chopped wood. The woman flung down an axe at his feet, spat angrily. She was very angry. She was like very, very angry, seeing the condition of this man probably. And judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. So Sergi was noticing everything, and because she was spatting and saying something, one could feel, Sergi felt that she was scolding him and was getting very angry the way he was reading his lips. The beggar irresolutely did not want to. He just reluctantly pulled a billet of wood and towards him and set between his feet. So what he did was, he pulled out a billet, a stick or a branch or a log of wood. A billet is small, the big bark is cut into pieces. So that is a billet. So he pulled a billet, he put it between his feet and started, cutting it with the axe like that. Now that is not the right way. The beggar, the billet, he put it between his feet and then he started tapping it feebly, very weakly with the axe. Now a piece of wood cannot be cut in this way. You need physical labor. The billet wavered, moved and fell down. The beggar again pulled it up, blew on his freezing hands. It was ice cold. It was snowing outside. He blew to warm his hand, tapped the axe cautiously so that he does not hurt his overshoe. The axe should not go and hit the overshoe or his finger. So he did it very cautiously. But again, the billet fell down and he was not able to chop wood. Sergi's anger had vanished, and seeing this, Sergi was seeing from the dining room window, and he felt probably that this was a wrong thing, that he was, making that man do. So he felt that maybe it was a wrong step. Sergi's anger vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having such a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to this type of menial labor. So he felt this labor that he was getting that man to do was incorrect. An hour later, Olga came in and announced that he had chopped all the wood. Good. So Sergi felt very happy. Good. Give him half a ruble. If he wants, he can come back and cut wood on first day of each month. Now just see. The way Sergi was so good, showing his kindness, that he offered that he could come every first day of the month and chop wood and take away the money. And then he said, and at other times also, because they would always find work for him. On the first of every month, the waif, the beggar, we have so many words for beggar. It is mendicant, it is suppliant, it is waif, it is beggar. Made his appearance and again earned half a ruble. Although he could barely stand on his legs, he could not stand, he was so weak. From that day, he often appeared into the yard, and every time there was work found for him. What he used to do was, he would shovel snow. So what all works did he learn? He learned to cut or chop wood. Alright, then shovel snow. That is, when the whole area, the whole path is full of snow, you need to shovel it with the spade, shovel snow. Alright, then put the wood shed in order. Alright, wood shed in order. Next thing was, Now beat the dust out of rugs and mattresses. So beat the dust out of rugs or mattresses. Alright, so and then this way he could earn 20 to 40 kopecks, copper coins. And once even a pair of old trousers were given to him. For cutting wood, half a ruble. For doing all this work, 20 to 40 kopecks. And also a pair of trousers he got. And then, let's see further. When Sergey moved into another house, he hired him to helping in packing and howling for the furniture. So now when Sergey was moving to a new house, this advocate was going to a new house. Again, he called this man so that he would help in packing and in shifting. This time the waif, again the beggar, was sober, gloomy. There was a change in him. He was sober, gloomy and silent. He hardly touched any furniture and walked behind the wagons, hanging his head, not even making a pretense of appearing busy. So he did not work. He did not touch the furniture also, but he was sober, he was silent and walked behind the wagons when it was shifting from one house to another. He only shivered in cold and became embarrassed when caterers jeered at him for his idleness and feebleness and his tattered fancy overcoat. So now even the other people who were there to help in shifting, they were also making fun of him. They jeered at him, they made fun of him, mocked at him because of his fancy coat and because he was lazy, he was feeble, he was weak and he couldn't work. So they, talked about it, they taunted at him, they made fun, they mocked at him. After moving over, Sergey sent for him. So now when the moving was done, Sergey didn't know that he had not done any work. He had not touched the furniture, but he was there, present with them. So Sergey called him. Well, and what did he say? Well, I'm happy that my words had taken effect. Now he saw a change in the nature of this man. He had become silent, he was sober, he was gloomy. Alright, there was a change in his endeavor. So, he said that he was happy, that there was a change. And so then he gave him a ruble. He paid him a ruble and because he had helped in shifting. Sergey thought so. Here for your pains. I see you are sober and have no objection to work. What is your name? So this is the first time Sergey asked for his name. So the answer came was Lashkov. So our beggar's name was Lashkov. Alright. Well, Lashkov, I can offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? So now Sergey wanted to improve his life further. So asked him that I want you to give a cleaner employment and if he could write. So he said yes, that he could write. Then take this letter. So Sergey gave him a letter to my friend tomorrow and you will be given some copying to do. Copying is what, if you work as a secretary or a typist or, then what is the boss or the master? He dictates letters, dictates things to you and which you have to copy. There are things which you have to type, so that is also copying. Alright. So, and then he said, work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have said to you and goodbye. So he gave him the letter and that was after which they did not meet for next 2 years. Pleased at having put a man at right path. Now Sergey was very happy to put him on the right path. He had picked up from the road a beggar, a drunkard beggar who was in a bad condition and now he was giving him a cleaner employment. Sergey was very satisfied. Sergey tapped Lashkov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him a hand while parting. By parting also they shook hands while parting. Lashkov took the letter and from that day forth he was not seen at the yard anymore. 2 years went by. Then one evening as Sergey was standing at the ticket window of a theatre paying for the seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and sealskin cap. Alright, sealskin cap. This little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for the seat in gallery. So this short man was buying a ticket to the gallery of the theatre and paid him in copper coins. And Sergey was an observer. He just could recognize anyone. Just he had to run his memory down the memory lane. So he looked at him and he saw, oh, this is Lashkov. So he said, Lashkov, is that you? Cried Sergey, recognizing in the little man his former wood chopper. How are you? What are you doing? How is everything with you? So he was so happy. He asked so many questions, one after the other. All right, he said, all right, I'm absolutely fine. I'm a notary now. Notary officer works as a legal person, a person who prepares legal documents. All right, so I am a notary man now and I am paid 35 rubles a month and his salary was 35 rubles. Just imagine. Thanks heaven. And Sergey was very happy. That's fine. I'm delighted for your sake. I'm very, very glad, Lashkov. You see, you are my godson in a sense. Why did he call him a godson? Because he actually was not his son. Sergey had treated him as if his own son and had changed his life. Right? From a beggar who was begging on the street at different places every day and in a drunkard condition with all rags that he was wearing. Now he had become a notary officer earning 35 rubles a month. So that was great transformation. So he called himself he called him Lashkov, godson. That means he himself regarded himself as a godfather. I gave you a push along the right path. You know, do you remember what a roasting I gave you? So he said he called him a godson because he was the person who showed them the right path. And also he said, do you remember, roasting here means scolding. I nearly had you sinking into the ground at my feet that day. Thank you, old man, for not forgetting my words. So he said, thank you for not forgetting the words. Which words? He had told him not to drink. He had told him to work hard, to improve his life, all that. Thank you too, said Lashkov. If I hadn't come to you, then I might still have been calling myself a teacher or a student. So he says, he confesses at that time, yes, by flying to your protection, I dragged myself out of the pit. So he confesses and he says, thanks also. He thanked him. I am very glad indeed. So Sergey was very happy. Thank you for your kind words and deeds. I am very grateful to you and to your cook. So he mentions the cook also because she was the one who took him to the wood shed. God bless and that good old noblewoman, you spoke finely then, and I shall be indebted to you to my dying day. But strictly speaking, it was your cook Olga who saved me. So he says, see, you have actually put me into the right path. You did it. You brought me in. The initial point was yours. But I definitely want to thank your cook Olga because she's the one who has actually changed me. So Sergey didn't know what this was, and so he asked, how is that? When I used to come to your house to chop wood, she used to begin, oh, you sot, oh, you miserable creature, there's nothing for you but ruin. And then she used to sit down opposite me and grow sad and look into my face and weep. So he tells what all Olga used to do. Olga used to feel so very bad for Lashkov. She regards, every day when you start meeting someone, you become attached to that person. And she was an old lady who treated Lashkov just like his son and tried to explain it to him by saying these words, the way a mother can tell her son. So she used to do all this. Oh, you unlucky man, there's no pleasure for you in the world and there will be none in the world to come. So she tries to explain, if you keep drinking, if you keep following this type of lifestyle, there will be no pleasure for you in the whole life. Now also, in future also. You drunkard, you will burn in hell. Oh, you unhappy man. And so would she carry on, in that strain. I can't tell you how much misery she suffered, how many tears she had shed for my sake. So, that way Olga used to shed tears for her. She used to feel so bad for Lashkov and his condition that she used to start crying. Seeing her kind heart, a heart full of compassion, heart full of motherly love, brought about a change in the heart of Lashkov. But the chief thing was, she used to chop the wood for me, and for the first time, Sergey comes to know that it was not this person, not the drunkard beggar who used to chop wood, but it was Olga who used to chop wood and get half a ruble for him every time. Do you know, sir, that I did not chop one single stick of wood for you? She did it all. Why this saved me, why I changed, why I stopped drinking at the sight of her, I cannot explain. So he says, I don't know why I changed my life. I stopped drinking. It was only because of that lady, the way she used to work for me, the way she used to do that menial labor for me, the way she used to cry for me, the way she used to tell me what all a mother can tell a son. I only know that owing to her words and noble deeds, a change took place in my heart. She set me right and I shall never forget it. However, it is time to go. There goes the bell. Chekhov bowed and departed to the gallery. This was the story where we came to know that love, kindness, compassion of a person can bring about a change in a beastly person. A beastly figure, a beastly heart, a drunkard man, a beggar can definitely be brought to right path if you do it with a lot of love, kindness, compassion, care, that all Olga had shown to Chekhov. Alright, so in this chapter we need to know the difference between the appearance of the beggar in the beginning and now when he became the notary, right? Question 1. Question 2, the lies that he used to tell. Alright, so as a village school teacher, student, all that, and what actually was the truth. So maybe the Russian choir thing we can take it for truth. Alright, and then he used to tell a lie about being expelled as a student or school teacher because of, you know, someone's conspiracy that people had tried to defame him and he had lost his job, and then now he was called to Kaluga. Even this is one of the lies. Alright, and he did not have even 5 kopecks for lodging or going to that place. So all this is lies. We need to know the lies. Then what all Sergey did. Alright, what did Sergey see from the dining room window? How Olga was getting angry and she shoved him with her shoulder. She banged the door open and she, threw the axe at his feet and started scolding him, and she was saying something or the other. So we need to know this. Olga's character, we should know about her character and how, he used to earn money, what all works he used to do. We should know this. Alright. So, and role of Sergey as a godfather. So these are the questions. Any more problems, please write it in the comment section. Do subscribe my channel. Press the bell icon for the latest notifications. And yes, please put comments also. Take good care of yourself. Bye.